This is the MP40 submachine gun, a weapon so poorly designed that it would accidentally fire when you dropped it, whose magazines jammed so often that, like, soldiers carried extras not for ammo, but because half were broken at any time. And that costs, I don't know, roughly 60% more to produce than the Soviet PPSh-41. And yet, somehow, this became the icon of German infantry in World War II. Not the rifle, you know, the 10 million soldiers actually carried. This thing that, honestly, most of them never even touched. Because the MP40's legendary status is built on, like, Hollywood lies, aesthetic appeal, and okay, there's one genuine innovation that everyone ignores. So, let's tear into it. All right, so 1,930 seconds Germany. They're rearming, completely ignoring Versailles, and WWI taught them that bolt-action rifles are they're garbage in trenches and ruined buildings. Like, when your enemy is 5 meters away, you need automatic fire, right? The submachine gun concept, compact, automatic, spray bullets fast. Germany had the MP18 from WWI pioneering, but, you know, outdated by 1935. They needed something mass producible without, like, skilled machinists for every part. And they got it. The MP40 would influence Israeli Uzi design, American M3 development, and modern PDW doctrine. But here's what gets me. It succeeded despite fundamental flaws that should have killed the design. That's the real story. Okay, so the MP40 came from the MP38, first produced in, you guessed it, 1938. Heinrich Vollmer designed it, Erma Werke manufactured it. Revolutionary concepts stamped metal and plastic instead of machined steel. Cheap, fast production. One problem though, the MP38 would fire if you dropped it. Not sometimes, like regularly. Drop it wrong, it goes full auto into the dirt or into your squad. There are documented cases, and I've read the after-action reports because I'm that kind of nerd of MP38s accidentally killing their own users because someone tripped during a rapid advance. That's not a design flaw. That's criminal negligence that somehow made it into production. So 1,940, they fixed it with the MP40, better safety sear, simplified manufacturing, 1.1 million produced by a war's end. Now everyone acts like 1.1 million is impressive. Germany made 14 million Kar9 8K rifles. The Soviets made like 6 million PPSh-41 seconds. The MP40 was rare, but it looked distinctive, that curved magazine. Folding stock, so Hollywood made it the standard German weapon, which is completely historically wrong. 9x19mm Parabellum, 32-round magazine, 500 to 550 revolutions per minute, effective range, maybe 100 meters, realistically 50. Here's what actually impresses me, the simplicity. Blowback operated, open bolt, pull trigger, bolt goes forward, fires recoil, pushes it back. No gas tubes, no rotating bolts, no complexity. Pure physics. You know what's beautiful? Strip this weapon down, 36 parts total. 36! The PPSh-41 needed 87. The Thompson needed 90-something. This is German engineering doing what it does best. Over-engineering solutions until you realize they accidentally under-engineered something perfectly. Like, it's genius, honestly. That folding stock. Genius for paratroopers and vehicle crews. Compact, stable, practical. The problem is they nailed the mechanical design and completely botched the magazine. It's like building a Ferrari with bicycle tires. Listen, every World War II movie is lying to you. Like, all of them. The MP40 was not standard infantry equipment. The average German soldier, you know, Lanzer trudging through Russia with frostbite, carried a Kar9 8K rifle and never touched an MP40. MP40S went to squad leaders, Unteroffizier, vehicle crews, paratroopers, and specialists. Maybe one per squad. Maybe. Why? Math. A rifleman carried 60 to 90 rounds easily. An MP40 user burned through 2 magazines, 64 rounds in 7 seconds of full auto. 7 seconds, then he's useless until resupply. The German logistics system was already crumbling by 1942. They couldn't afford to give everyone a weapon that devours ammunition like a starving wolf, you know? So they issued them selectively. Fallschirmjäger jumping into Crete loved them. I mean, try parachuting with a full-length rifle. Tank crews appreciated the compact size. Oscar Dirlewanger's penal units got them, probably because High Command didn't care if they ran out of ammo. But movies show entire squads with MP40s because it's visually interesting. Saving Private Ryan, Enemy at the Gates, every video game, all historically inaccurate. The real World War II German infantry looked way more boring. Car 9, 8K rifles everywhere, maybe one MP40, maybe an MG42 if you're lucky. Hollywood chose aesthetics over accuracy, and now everyone thinks the MP40 was standard issue. It's frustrating. Urban warfare, Stalingrad, Ortona, Berlin, the MP40 was legitimately devastating. That rate of fire in stairwells and rooms meant one man could hold a position against multiple attackers. There are accounts like Unteroffizier level soldiers holding positions for hours with MP40s. When it worked, it was brilliant. The psychological impact of sustained automatic fire in close quarters was massive, but past 50 meters, useless. The 9mm round was pathetic at range. Full auto from the shoulder meant you were aiming at clouds. The sights were crude. This was a point in the general direction and prey weapon beyond close range. And those magazines. Oh my God. I've fired reproduction MP40s. The magazines still jam with modern manufacturing and quality control. Now imagine 1,940 seconds production in bombed German factories using forced labor from concentration camps. Quality control was a joke. Soldiers would hoard magazines, not for capacity, but for redundancy. You'd carry 8 magazines knowing 3 to 4 might be unreliable. That's not a minor inconvenience. That's a fundamental design failure they never fixed. They just accepted it. In winter, forget it. The magazines would freeze, springs would lose tension, feed lips would crack. Eastern Front veterans, I've read interviews with survivors, universally complained about magazine reliability more than any other issue. Like, more than the cold, more than anything. And speaking of design failures, okay, this is kind of off topic, but I have to tell you, in 1943, some engineer had this brilliant idea. What if we put 2 WO magazines side by side, the MP40 divided by I? I've seen original examples in museums. They're comically bad. The dual magazine housing stressed the feed mechanism. Constant jams, the weapon got 30% heavier. Awkward to handle. They produced 10,000 before someone with authority finally said this is stupid. Stop. 10,000 units. That's not a prototype run. That's a production commitment to a weapon modification that demonstrably didn't work. But 1,943 Germany was desperate, so bad ideas made it to production. Fun fact though, MP40s kept being used until the 1,970 seconds. French Indochina, Israeli War of Independence, various insurgencies. Despite everything wrong with it, the core design was solid enough for like 30 plus years of service. Okay, here's my controversial take. The MP40 is the most overrated weapon of World War II. It looked cool. That's it. That's why it's iconic. Curved magazine, folding stock, all metal construction, cinematically perfect. The Car 9 8K looks generic. The MP40 screams German soldier. So every filmmaker, game designer, documentarian uses it because it's instantly recognizable. But from a purely functional standpoint, the PPSh-41 was superior in every metric except looks. More reliable, higher capacity, easier to manufacture, better in cold weather. The Soviets made 6 million because it worked. Germans made 1.1 million MP40s because they kept trying to perfect a flawed magazine design and never succeeded. We worship the MP40 because of aesthetics and Hollywood propaganda. And that reveals something about how we remember history. We remember what looks cool, not what actually performed better, you know? Did it influence post-war design? Absolutely. Israeli Uzi, American M3, post-war doctrine on PDWs, all learned from the MP40. But influence doesn't equal superiority. The MP40 represented a shift in thinking about infantry combat. Credit where it's due. But iconic doesn't mean best. So, there it is. 1.1 million produced, issued selectively, magazine reliability, so bad soldiers hoarded extras, and yet somehow the defining weapon of German infantry in pop culture. The MP40 was clever engineering wrapped around a fundamental flaw they never fixed. It dominated in close quarters when it worked. It influenced decades of weapon design, but was it actually good? Debatable. I've fired reproductions, even modern versions jam. I wouldn't trust my life to an original in combat conditions. Give me a PPSh-41 instead, honestly. But damn, it looks cool. Hot take. If you could time travel to World War II as a German paratrooper, would you want the iconic MP40 or would you rather have captured a PPSh? I know my answer. Let me know yours in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Support on Patreon for deep dives like this. Thanks for watching.